The higher a thing arises, the fewer the people who will recognize it. When something reaches the highest point, it is very difficult to find even a few people to recognize it. At the ultimate omega point, only the person himself recognizes what has happened to him. He cannot find even a second person who can see it. That's why a Buddha has to declare himself that he is enlightened. Nobody else can recognize it, because to recognize it, you will have to have some taste of it. Otherwise, how can you recognize it? No recognition is possible because the point is so high. But what is the meaning of Buddhahood? What is the meaning of becoming enlightened? What is the point? If you ask about the point, there is none. It itself is enough. It needs nothing else to make it significant. That's what I mean when I say that the really valuable things in life are not divided into ends and means. There is no division between ends and means. Ends are the means are the ends. Perhaps two sides of the same coin inseparably joined together in fact. They are a oneness, a wholeness. You ask me, is there any point in life, in living? I am afraid that if I say there is no point in living, you will think that means you have to commit suicide. Because if there is no point in living, then what else to do? Commit suicide. I am not saying commit suicide, because in committing suicide also, there is no point. Living live, and live totally. Dying die, and die totally. And in that totality you will find significance. I am deliberately not using the word meaning, and using the word significance, because meaning is contaminated. The word meaning, it always points somewhere else. You must have heard, you must have read in your childhood, many stories. Why are they written for children? Perhaps the writers don't know. But it is part of the same exploitation of humanity. One story goes like this: there is a man whose life is in a parrot. If you kill the parrot, the man will be killed. But you cannot kill the man directly. You can shoot him and nothing will happen. You can swing your sword and the sword will pass through his neck. But the head will remain joined to the body. You cannot kill the man first, you have to find where his life is. So in those types of stories, the person's life is always somewhere else. And when you find out where it is, you just kill the parrot, and wherever the man is, he will die immediately. Even when I was a child, I used to ask my teacher, this seems to be a very stupid kind of story. Because I don't see anyone whose life is in a parrot or in a dog. Or in something else, like a tree. It was the first time I had that story, that type of story. Then I came across many. They were written specially for children. The man who was teaching me was a very nice and respectable gentleman. I asked him, can you tell me where your life is? Because I would like to try. He said, what do you mean? I said, I would like to kill that bird in which your life is. You are an intelligent man, wise, respected. You must have put your life somewhere else so nobody can kill you. That's what the story says, that wise people keep their life somewhere else. So that you cannot kill them, so that nobody can kill them. And it is impossible to find where they have kept their life. Unless they tell the secret, nobody can figure it out. This world is so big, and there are so many people, and so many animals, and so many birds and trees. Nobody knows where that man has put his life. You are a wise man, respected. You must have kept your life hidden somewhere. You can just tell me in private. I will not kill the bird completely. Just give him a few twists and turns, and see what happens to you. He said, you are a strange boy. I have been teaching this story my whole life. And you want to give me a twist and turn? This is only a story. But I said, what is the point of the story? Why do you go on teaching this story and this kind of thing to children? He could not answer. I asked my father, what can be the meaning of this story? Why should these things be taught, which are absolutely absurd. He said, "If your teacher cannot answer, then how can I answer? I don't know. He is far more educated and intelligent and wise. You harass him, rather than harassing me. But now I know the meaning of the stories, and why they are being taught to the children. These stories enter the unconscious, and the child starts thinking. Life is always somewhere else in heaven, in God. Always somewhere else, it is not in you. You are empty, just an empty shell. You don't have meaning in your life here now. Here you are only a means, a ladder. If you go up the ladder, perhaps someday you will find your life, your God, your goal, your meaning. Whatever name you give to it. But I say to you that you are the meaning. The significance, and living itself is intrinsically complete. Life needs nothing else to be added to it. All that life needs is that you live it to its totality. If you live only partially, then you will not feel the thrill of being alive. It is like any mechanism when just a part is functioning. For example, in a clock, if only the second hand is working, but neither the hour nor the minute hand moves, what purpose will it serve? There will be movement, a certain part is working, but unless the whole works and works in harmony, there cannot be a song out of it. And this is the situation everybody is living partially, a small part. So you make noise, but you can't create a song. You move your hands and legs, but no dance happens. The dance, the song, the significance comes into existence the moment you function as a whole in harmony, in accord. Then you don't ask such questions as, is there any point in living? You know, living itself is the point. There is no other point. But you have not been allowed to remain one and whole. You have been divided, cut into several parts. A few parts have been completely closed. So much so that you don't know even that they belong to you. Much of you has been thrown in the basement. Much of you has been so condemned that although you know it is there, you cannot dare to accept that it is part of you. You go on denying it, you go on repressing it. You know only a very small fragment in you, which they call conscience, which is a social product, not a natural thing, which society creates inside you to control you from inside. The constable is inside, which is far more powerful. That's why even in a court, first they will give you the Bible. You take the oath on the Bible because the court also knows that. If you are a Christian, putting your hand on the Bible and saying, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, your conscience will force you to speak the truth. Because now you have taken the oath in the name of God, and you have touched the Bible. If you speak a lie, you will be thrown into hell. Before, at the most, if you were caught, you would be thrown into prison for a few months, a few years. But now you will be thrown in hell for eternity. Even the court accepts that the Bible is more powerful. The Gita is more powerful, the Korean is more powerful than the court, than the military, than any army.